Good day, grade 10s. I hope you guys had a lovely, lovely, lovely winter holiday. I hope each and every one of you guys is well rested. We are going to start a new topic. It is creative thinking and problem solving. I swear, none of you guys have to stress about it. I know we're all new into virtual learning, but I will take you guys step for step and I will help you guys with anything that you guys need help with. Okay, this is Business Studies Grade 10, and you guys are very much so welcome. Now, my name is Sunela Eden Madikwe, and I will be the teacher who will be taking you guys for this lovely and fun topic. Creative thinking is an extremely fun topic. We use creative thinking in almost every single thing we do every day. In finding new ways on how to do things, we have to think innovative about everything. So, creative thinking, it's something that we live with. So, none of you guys have to worry about it. It is something that you guys will understand. But before we go into that, I would love everyone to try and like solve these riddles. I would like you guys to think out of the box on what the answers may be to this riddle. So everyone in class, please, I'm giving you guys 5 minutes. After that, I will ask you guys to give me your questions, your answers, and then tell me what you guys think these riddles answers are. Remember, only 5 minutes, guys. Okay, guys, so I feel like I had given you guys enough chance to come up with the answers to these riddles. Okay, so let's try to see what the answer is to number one. So, number one, the riddle was give it food, it will live, give it water, it will die. I heard what you guys had to say. I saw your answers, and I can assure you that the answer is fire. Fire meaning if you put wood into the fire, it gets bigger, it lives on, it doesn't die out. However, if you pour it with water, then it will die out. So that's why the answer is fire. The number two is what goes around the world and stays in a corner. I also heard what you guys had to say. Obviously, I had the most obnoxious answers ever. I had the most funniest answers ever. Some of you guys might have gotten it right. So let's see what it is. Here it is, a stamp. A stamp when you write a letter to a person. Remember, with a letter, it's like a triangular. It's in triangular form, right? And then the stamp is always there in the corner. And then a letter can go from here to the United States, to the United Kingdoms, to Europe. So it can like travel the whole of the world. And with a stamp, you will definitely know where the letter comes from. The third one is what gets wetter the more it dries. The answer is a towel. You know a towel where you put it into water, it's obviously drippy, but the more you try to rinse the water out, the wetter it gets and the harder it gets. The harder it gets for you as a person to even try to dry it or to do anything with it. So I guess that's why the answer is a towel. And um the fourth one is the more there is, the less you see. The more there is, the less you see. What do you think the answer may be? Let's see. They say it's darkness. When it becomes darker, when it becomes more, you can't see as much as you can. When there's a little bit of light shining in the darkness, that's when you can like pip pip, and then that's where you see something. But when it's very, 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 very dark, there's no way you can see anything. So that is why the answer there is darkness. And the last but never the least is what kind of a room has no windows or doors? That one was very tricky. Even for myself, I have to agree with that. I couldn't figure that one out. And to cheat, I did go and research about it because I wanted to know the answer. It was extremely difficult for me as well, guys. So if you guys found it difficult, I definitely understand. So the answer is a mushroom, and that to me came very, very, very amusingly, very funny. I didn't expect the answer to be a mushroom, and I'm sure neither of you guys did anyway. But that is what we mean when we say creative thinking. So creative thinking, you have to think out of the box. You have to think big. You can't just think small. You can't just think of the things around you. You have to think about other aspects, you know? That's when people say you have to think creatively. You have to think so big, even out of the little space or out of the little box that you are in. So when we say creative thinking, that's what we mean. But let's continue, and let me introduce the topic of creative thinking to you guys. So let's look at the introduction of creative thinking. Here they say creative thinking is one of the most important processes that add success to a business. This is true, guys. Without creative thinking, businesses won't be able to solve most of the problems that they are faced with almost every single day. Businesses can't keep on using routine thinking when they have to solve most of their problems. Some of their problems need them to come together as business owners, as employees, or as managers, and then they have to find new ways on how to solve problems. Here they also say that creative thinking helps businesses keep up with the latest trends. We live in the 21st century. We live in the fourth industrial revolution. Every day there's new things. Every day there's a new trend. There's a new technological device that's going to come out. Businesses constantly have to keep up with these new trends because their customers keep up with these new trends. If per se you still use these phones, or you still use this mode of communication, there's going to be another business that use a different mode of communication that communicates differently to your employees. So that's why it's extremely important for you as a business owner to always keep up with the latest trends. They also say that it always stays ahead of their competitors. It's exactly what I just said in my previous point. You have to stay one step ahead of your competitors. Your competitors are people who are always watching you. They want to see what it is that you have that's going to be out new in the market. Remember, you guys are fighting for the same clients. You guys are fighting for the same customers, right? So they always will try to stay one step ahead of you. They will implement creative thinking in almost every single thing they do. That is why it is extremely important for business owners to use creativity in their business, to think creatively when they are faced with problems. Here they say businesses need to be able to effectively solve problems. There is no way that a business is not faced with a problem. There will always be a dilemma that a business will be faced with. That is why creative thinking is important. And they also say whether they are dealing with a dissatisfaction or financial issue. You understand? Whether it's this dissatisfaction that's happening among the employees, among the managers, maybe how the environment or how the enterprise is running, or how the finances of the business is going, creative thinking plays a big role. You understand? Creative thinking plays a big role because now they get to think of other ways on how to improve maybe the way things are run in the business, or how the finances are coming in and out of the business. Business practices constantly have to be improved. They constantly have to be assessed, and that is why creative thinking, it has to be involved in everything that a business does, in how they solve their problems, in how they assess themselves. Creative thinking is one of the topics that you will deal with from now on in grade 10 until grade 11. So it is extremely important for us to now understand what creative thinking is. In this topic, we will further evaluate the application of creative thinking and how to respond to the challenges and dynamics of of complex situations that happen in the business context. So let's pay further attention to the meaning of creative thinking and the big role that it plays in the business enterprise. Now for the fun part of it all. Do you guys see my little lamps on my cover? They look so nice. You know, in cartoons, when people normally like have an idea, they have like this bulb going ding in their heads, and that's why I thought this is very, very effective. And let me use this frame when I discuss the meaning of creative thinking. Let's look at what they say. What is the meaning of creative thinking? Here they say creative thinking involves the process of generating innovative and imaginative ideas. It's like I said, you're thinking out of the box, you're thinking big. It also says it is the ability to see something in a new way, just you not walking in the same road every day. You try taking other roads. You might find that there's a better shortcut to something that may help you get home faster. That's creative thinking. Instead of you just taking the same route that you are taught to take every single day, there's a new route that you can take. Here they also say it is also about being able to think of unique ideas or new approaches to solve problems. We can agree that most of these people, famous or not, rich or poor, you understand? These people had to think of new ways on how to do things. Maybe some businesses had failed after years, maybe not. Let's look at what happened to the camera Kodak. Kodak was one of the best cameras in the world, right? They were one of the cameras that only printed like those digital photos. But Kodak never wanted to move into other structures. They didn't want it to move into like cell phones and so on. But what happened to Kodak? They ended up crashing at the end of the day because why? They didn't want to think creatively. They didn't try to explore other factors. They didn't think innovatively when they thought that it's only going to be them that are going to be ruling the digital or camera future of the world. However, it turned out not to be that way. So that is why it is very important for you to be able to think of unique and new ideas or new approaches to solve all of your problems. They also say that creative thinking helps solve business problems successfully, and that is true. When you use the same route every single day, you use the same route for almost all of your problems, even problems that are different and do not relate to each other. A problem that happens in the finance state and a problem that happens like in management or general or marketing are two different problems and are extremely different, so they need different approaches. They need you to approach them differently. And even in that same sector, in that same environment, a problem that happens in marketing, maybe let's say how these people are advertising their products and how these people are promoting it, it's quite differently. Businesses and business owners, managers and employees have to come together. They have to think about new innovative ways on how they are going to deal with these problems. You can't just always use the same problem to the same solution to the same problem every single time. It confuses people, you know. It makes people tired. People always use the same route to everything and they can see that this thing is not working out for them. That is why it's important for businesses to use creative thinking in the enterprise. And let's now explore the advantages and the benefits of using creative thinking in a business. We can agree that incorporating creative thinking in the workplace is going to take up a lot of time when it comes to having to think of ideas. Many people are going to have to leave their jobs that they are busy with to come together with the other employees to think about solutions on how to solve problems. But let's evaluate the benefits of using creative thinking in the business and how beneficial it is to the business. Here they say the advantage of creative thinking in the workplace is that new, innovative, and better ideas and solutions are generated. We come together, we are refreshed. Some people are young, some people are old. They bring their knowledge together and then they come up with the best solutions to all of their problems. Creativity is a key to staying one step ahead of your competitors. That's very true. You thinking in new ways on how to solve your problems is a key factor to staying one step ahead from your competitors. Complex business problems may be solved. Those business problems that business owners have been struggling with for years, maybe for the longest time ever, can be solved when people come together. They all share their ideas, they all share what they have in mind, they all share new ways on how they can tackle the problem. All of those problems can be solved in a small space of time, and it leads to increased productivity of the entire business. Not everyone feels motivated. Not everyone feels like, yes, they definitely can tackle these problems. They can come up with new solutions to solve these problems. This is the importance of creative thinking in the business. Business owners and employees, managers, they all feel like they're thriving. They all feel like they're making a big contribution to the business. They feel like their input is very important to the business. They feel like they are valuable to the business. This increases productivity in the business. They also say They also say that creative thinking leads to new inventions or new ideas that may happen. Who knows? While you guys are still sitting together, while you guys are still trying to come up with new ideas, then someone comes up with a new invention. What does that cause? It causes everyone in the business to make more money. They introduce it to their customers. This is a new thing to customers. It falls part of the new trends. People are very excited for this new product or new service or new way of doing something. People want to know about the business. Their productivity in the business increases. The business names becomes bigger. The business becomes in the forefront of everything. They are one step ahead of their competitors. That's why it's very important for business owners to incorporate creative thinking in the business. Managers and their employees are also able to keep up with the latest trends that are happening. Everything that is happening in the market, they are the first ones to know. This is the importance of creative thinking in the business. This is the benefits that the creative thinking has in the business. It may look like it is going to consume most of the time of the employees, most of the time of the managers, and most of the time of the business owners, but it is a key factor to having a successful business. I cannot stop emphasizing how important it is for business owners to incorporate creative thinking when they have to solve problems, or just generally when there's nothing that happens in the business, or when there's nothing new that had happened in the business and they feel like they want to spice up the business. This is a factor and a key that they can use to make their business bigger and to help their business grow and explore and expand. We explored how business owners can benefit from using creative thinking in their business. Now we will see how the ways in which creative thinking in the business can be used. Here they can say it can design environments that stimulate creative thinking. Business owners can come together, design environments such as workspaces where employees can come together to stimulate creative thinking, to think about new ideas on how to do things. And they also say business owners can encourage staff to come up with new ideas and solutions, not discourage them whenever they have an opinion about something, rather than encourage them, make them feel like they are valuable to the business. They can also encourage alternative ways of doing things when a new employee comes and then they try to do things in another manner. Instead of discouraging them and telling them about the workplace policy or about how things are done in the workplace, they can actually encourage them and get other employees to learn about how they can do new things in the business. They can also respond enthusiastically to all ideas and never let anyone feel less important. As hence I say, all employees have to feel extremely valuable. They have to feel like they are part of the environment. They are part of the family. They are valuable to the business. All their ideas count as something to the business. And to make time for brainstorming sessions for idea generation. When employees are really not busy with anything, or when they do not have a workload that's a lot, when they do not have any deadlines that they have to meet, business owners can encourage them to come together, maybe in staff rooms, or business owners can create fun areas or relaxing areas, chill areas where employees can come together. They can stimulate about new ideas that are going to be very valuable to the business. They can brainstorm about more things that can happen in the business, maybe how a certain problem can be tackled or how a new thing can be done in the business. That will be a very, very, very valuable key to the business. Or if business owners want to do that, in on each table, or let's say at the coffee area or somewhere, they can just place suggestion boxes where employees can go around and then place their suggestions of anything, whether there is a problem, how things are run in the enterprise, anything, maybe a new way of doing things, maybe a new way of having employees to come together and think about something, on new ways on how to encourage the employees, on how to make the employees feel valuable. Business owners can allow their employees to think of anything, to write anything to them, how they feel like things should be done in the business. It's extremely important for your employees to feel like they are part of the family, that they are a big part of the business. Once your employees feel valuable, they will feel comfortable enough to sit down with you as a manager, to sit down with you as a business owner, and explain to them and explain to you how you or they can make your business expand, how they can make your business become bigger, because they feel like they are valued in the business. You understand? They feel like what they are going to do is also going to benefit them in the long run. So that's why it's important to incorporate all of these ways when you want to incorporate creativity in the business. You can also train staff in innovative techniques, creative problem solving skills, on mind mapping, and lateral thinking. Those are the techniques that we are going to learn about furthermore in this topic. Here they also say it's important for you as a business owner to emphasize the importance of creative thinking, to have your employees get out of their box, their safe zone or the wall that they build around themselves. Make them feel like it's fine to tear it down. It's fine for you to get out of your comfort zone. It's fine for you to do things in other manners. This is the importance of creative thinking, to also encourage job swaps. If there's someone doing a job in marketing, maybe let them go to general to go understand how people in general do the job. You understand? Or make someone from another job in the business go to another job. This encourages them to know how their fellow employee is working, or maybe when they get there and there's a problem there, they are able to give solutions on how to solve these problems. They can also regard indigenous knowledge as valuable. Our elders that we have in our workplaces are very important because they have been doing this job for an extremely long time. They have great knowledge on this job. Maybe they do things like routinely, and the way of or their way of doing things is not exactly how we as young people or young people in general will be doing things. But people should know that it is very, 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 very important to take note of that knowledge. They have been in the business for a very long time. They know how things are run. What you can do is that you can use that knowledge and you can expand it, or you can add to it, or you can moderate it to fit into the new lifestyle and to this trend that we are living today, to fit into the 21st century. Those are the things that you can use. These are the ways that businesses can use to promote creativity in the business. They can encourage their employees via these manners, and they can make sure that no one ever feels like they are not valued in the business. Now we are looking at activity one, right? Activity one tells you to elaborate on the meaning of creative thinking. We had just done that. We had learned what creative thinking is. Looking at the mark allocation is for, you can't give me one sentence and expect me to give you like 1 mark on creative thinking. Please try to elaborate on what creative thinking is. Tell me more on creative thinking. And then we go to 1.2. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Here the scenario is a Toy Story. Toy Story sells toys to both young and the old. The toy sales have been declining for the past few months. The management of TS requested their employees to come up with new ideas on how this problem could be solved. Workshops were held to train staff about the different creative techniques. 1.1 says, quote 2 ways this TS uses to use creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities. This question specifically tells you that you should you should give the answer directly from the scenario. 1.2.2 just asks you again to give the other ways in which businesses can use creative thinking, not the ways that are already in the scenario, but other ways. And then 1.2.3 tells you to give the advantages of creative thinking in the workplace. That is all that you have to do. Hi guys, I am back. I hope you guys didn't miss me that much. Thank you to all of those who who sent me emails of the activity that they did. I really appreciate it. Right now, we move from creative thinking and now we're moving to problem solving and problem solving cycle. Problem solving is also part of creative thinking. Creative thinking and problem solving go hand in hand because people have to use creative thinking in order to solve a lot of problems. So that's why they go hand in hand. But let's look at what problem solving is. So as we can see here, problem solving is the process of finding solutions to difficult and complex problems. Problem solving now incorporates a lot of creative thinking, obviously. In order for you to find these solutions to these problems, you obviously have to think creatively on how to solve these problems. It is also the process that requires creative thinking, just like I said. Alternative solutions are identified and critically evaluated. So now when employees had come up with the creative thinking solutions, you understand, they are brought to managers or to business owners or to the employees themselves, and then These solutions are identified and they are critically evaluated to note which one of these problems or which one of these solutions will be the best to suit these problems. And effective problem solving results in good decision making. When you have effective problem solving skills, you can make good decisions. When you can't, then you're going to make bad decisions for your business. They can result in hampering your business in a very, very, very bad manner. Problems can be solved by a group, team, or an individual. That's the difference on problem solving. Creative thinking, sometimes you have to have like a group or a couple of members with you in order to think creatively. Problem solving, you can be alone, you can be in a group, you can be in a team. It doesn't really matter as long as you come up with these good or with these problems. Let's evaluate the problem solving cycle. Now we are looking at problem solving and the problem solving cycle. Creative thinking and problem solving are necessary components of sustainable business practices. Solving problems are at the center of what many people do at a workplace. Businesses are required to apply and constantly apply creative thinking and critical thinking skills to solve problems. A fundamental part of the role of every manager is finding ways to solve critical business problems. It is a manager's responsibility to come up with creative solutions for business problems. Management can be creative when managing and motivating employees. Employees also can come up with creative strategies for problems, and new products can be designed to meet changing preferences and demands. Existing goods and services can be adapted to meet ever-changing needs of the clients and the customers, and goods and services can be marketed in creative ways, making it attractive to customers, making customers want to buy the products. Public relations can design and implement creative thinking strategies. Those are the importance of creative thinking and problem solving. That is where creative thinking and problem solving will always and forever go hand in hand with each other. Now, when we look at the problem solving cycle, it is a valuable tool that a business can use to solve problems. The illustration below shows an example of a problem solving cycle. When we look at the problem solving cycle, we look at the first one, which is identify the problem. The second one is to define the problem. Third one is to formulate a strategy. Fourth one is to implement the strategy. Fifth one is to allocate resources. Sixth one is to monitor problems. Seventh one is to evaluate the problem solving process. And then the eighth one doesn't exist here on the cycle, but I think there is an eighth one that does exist. But these are the problem solving cycles. This is how managers and employees have to tackle problems day to day. They start with the first one, which is to identify the problem, until the last one, which is to evaluate the problem solving process. Now let's individually look at each and every one of these problem solving cycles and then evaluate what they mean to the business and how employees can use them to their advantage in the business. And now, individually looking at the problem solving cycles, we can see the first one, which is to identify the problem. This means to identify what the exact problem is. The business is faced with a problem. What is this problem? What is this thing that the business is faced with? And then after that, you develop a detailed problem statement that includes the effect of the problem on the business. Now we know that there's a problem, but we don't know what the problem is. So now what are we going to do? We're going to look into what the problem is. We find the problem, and now we're going to write a statement on what the problem is. Afterwards, we define the problem. We have the problem, but now we have to put the problem into words. We have to say what the problem is. So we define the cause of the problem. This is what the problem is causing. And then we focus on the real problem by finding out as much information as possible. We do our own research. We can't just look at a problem and then assume, okay, this is the problem. No, we have to go research on what this problem is. We know what the problem is now. We had identified it and then we defined it. Now we have to formulate a strategy on how we can fix this problem. Now we need to identify all the possible solutions. This is where us as employees, managers, and business owners, we come together and we formulate proper solutions on how to solve this problem. We find a solution in finding a solution involves constructing a course of action that will change the situation. When we say we're going to find the solution, it means now we're thinking about how we can solve the problem, better ways on how we're going to now involve action into fixing this problem. Now we have the strategy, but now we have to implement the strategy. That is number 4 of the problem solving cycle. We have to carry out the solution or the action plan. Again, now we had the plan, right? We had the plan in mind. So now we're going to carry out this plan that we, or this solution, this action that we had in mind. And then the action plan that includes the details of activities that must be performed. In the solution, each and every one in the business is probably going to have their own individual activities that they are going to have to do in order to properly solve this problem. So that is what we mean when we say that the action plan includes the details of activities that must be performed. Number 5 says that we have to allocate resources. In order for employees to effectively solve this problem or to effectively play out their activity, their role in finding or solving the problem, they have to be allocated with resources, because without resources they are going to be unable to do this. So now we have to arrange the necessary solutions. After that, we have to proper resource allocation makes it easy to assign tasks and execute them based on their priorities. We list the ones that are highly prioritized to the ones that are the lowest to prioritize. We make sure that resources are distributed equally in that range. Of course, I mean, like a person who has like a less prioritized solution to a person who has the highest activity, we can't give them more resources than we are going to give a person in the hierarchy, or a person who has like the high problem priority. And then afterwards we have to monitor the problem solving. Now, since we have already implemented the problem, right? Now we have to monitor how is the solution doing. We have implemented the solution. Now we have to implement, we have to see if this thing is actually working. We monitor, we closely observe the solutions of the action plan, and we ensure that the solution is being implemented as expected by gathering feedback. We go and ask the person who's maybe in charge of making sure that this solution goes proper. We ask them, how is this problem, how is the solution working for us? Is it working to benefit us? Is it working to solve this problem? We take the feedback that we get from this person, and then we go back to our teams, and then we go discuss, okay guys, this thing is working for us, or okay guys, this thing is not working for us. We have to find a better plan. And then number 7 is we evaluate the problem solving process. Here we consider the advantages and the disadvantages of the whole process. This indicates whether the action plan has solved the problem. Let's say we had implemented a solution, but then it hindered the business very badly. It means that we have to go back. We have to think of a solution that won't have a big impact on maybe the finances of the business, or the time that employees have to spend when they have to do their own jobs. Because some problems or some solutions may be good, but then they may also have a bad impact on the business. So us as the management team, as a team that had worked on solving this problem, we have to make sure that this solution works to our benefit, and both sides, on the side of solving the problem that there is there, and on the side of also making sure that we are still sustainable. We are still a sustainable business. We are still able to cooperate properly. We are still able to function properly. And maybe this is a solution that's going to help us expand instead of breaking the business down little by little. So these are the steps when we evaluate problem solving. This is a cycle that we go through when we evaluate a problem, from how we identify it, to implementing a strategy, to monitoring the strategy, and then going back and finding out the feedback, seeing how the solution is working in our advantage in the business. So now here we are faced with 2 different problem solving techniques. We are faced with decision making and problem solving. The personal decision making just feels like it's just to find a problem and then to apply it. And then problem solving is actually to go deeper into the problem, finding a solution and finding the proper solution in order to apply it to the problem. So here they say decision making is a process of choosing from several alternatives, whereas problem solving is a process of finding a solution to a problem. So decision making, you look at several alternatives, you choose a solution. And then problem solving is where you go into the problem, you look at the problem to find a proper solution. Decision making, various alternatives are considered before deciding on the best one. I guess the solutions are there in front of you, and maybe you try to rank them from best to worst, and then you do select on the solution, and then alternative solutions are identified and evaluated. You see, problem solving, the alternative solutions are there, they are identified, and then they are evaluated first. Decision making is part of the problem solving process where a solution is chosen. So then the solution is there, the solutions are there in front of them, and then they just choose a problem to in order this a solution in order to solve the problem. Whereas this problem solving, it involves analyzing the problem to identify the solutions. You analyze the problem first, you have the solutions in front of you, but you see what solution best suits this problem, because they are alike, but there's only one specific solution that might help to solve this problem. Whereas you find that decision making is just based on one person. It's one person. It can be biased because it can be how they feel about it. Whereas problem solving, it normally involves a group of people coming together to find the solution to a problem. Businesses are faced with making difficult decisions day to day. And here are some of the techniques that they can use for good decision making. One of these techniques are known as the force field analysis. The force field analysis is a technique that is used to compare the driving and restraining forces to create an informed decision. This technique will improve the quality of decision and increase the chances of success. So when you look at the force field analysis, you look at the problem or the solution. You look at what may have a negative impact on the business and what may have a positive impact in the business. And then you weigh them from 1 to 5. And the one who has the less impact is the one that is the best for the business. That is what the force field analysis is. We are still continuing with the problem solving techniques. I won't keep on saying them, but then I'd love you as class to go and look at the application of all of these techniques on the business. How businesses can use these. That is the homework that I'm going to give you. How businesses can use all of these techniques to apply it in their business. Here we're looking at the chair technique. They say that the chair technique explains a problem out loud to an imaginary person sitting in a chair. It encourages clear thinking. I'd love to think that the chair technique is a technique where a person sits in one chair and then maybe another person sits in another chair, and then they tell them the problem, and then it's a discussion between the two, because the empty chair, as I understand it, is that some people find it easier to talk when there is nobody to hear them. Somebody who has a problem can talk to an empty chair to voice frustration. Another person write down the problems and possible solution. So what the empty chair is, you as a person, you're going to sit in an empty chair, and then you are going to talk about the problems that you have. You will later then switch the chairs, and then you're going to be like the other person who's going to try to advise the person who was sitting in the previous chair, whom is yourself, and then you're going to tell them maybe the solutions that they can use to solve the problem. That's the difference between the chair technique and the empty chair technique. The empty chair technique takes use of only you, one person, while the chair technique can take a part for you as a person or as someone else in the business that you can ask to help you identify solutions to a problem. Now we will look at brainstorming and what brainstorming has for us. Brainstorming is also a problem solving technique. Now, brainstorming is a group activity to find a solution for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously. It is a method for inspiring creative thinking, problem solving by encouraging group members to come up with thoughts and ideas. Some of the ideas can be crafted into original, creative solutions to a problem, while others can spark even more ideas. Now, there are certain steps that you can use to incorporate brainstorming in the business. Your employees can write down all of their thoughts about a problem. The group will evaluate the ideas in the last step. As I said, the group members will evaluate the ideas in the last step. Then they will take the ideas one by one and list the advantages and the disadvantages of the group, what may favor us as a business and what may not favor us as a business. Then after that, each idea will be evaluated and the best idea will be chosen. Those are the steps to performing brainstorming in a business. It's not only performed by one person, it's performed by a group of people or a department of people. Everyone comes together and then they brainstorm on the ideas. Everyone individually does this activity, of course. Then all of the ideas are brought together, and then that's how everything gets evaluated. But there are also guidelines for brainstorming. People do not criticize any idea during the first step. You do not make anyone feel demotivated when they are brainstorming, because they are still new to this. They had just gotten the problem into their head. They're still thinking about a solution on how they can evaluate this problem, on how they can solve this problem. You do not judge any idea before evaluation time. It doesn't matter how bad an idea is, or how stupid it may sound, or how funny it may sound. You do not judge it anyhow. You do not say anything about it at all. You do not make the person feel less important, or that the idea is not important to the group. And all ideas should be accepted, even the ones that seem silly at times. That's what I said. And then everyone has to generate as much ideas as possible. Now, that's the thing about brainstorming. People generate too many ideas, and then it takes a long time for you to eventually, or for the group to eventually come to the problem, or to come to the solution that may eventually help them. And then you can extend some of the ideas, or combine ideas. Either way, anything that works for you, you can go with it. Brainstorming, it's a very effective way on problem solving. The only problem with that is that it takes up too much of the time. Too many ideas come forward, because then people think of a lot of ideas, and then they have to take time to evaluate each and every single idea until they find the perfect one. And now we are faced with the Delphi technique. A Delphi technique is a technique that is used in most of the exams, in most of the tests that come forth. You will always find the Delphi technique from now on until matric, because it's one of the most famous techniques that business owners love to use, or that is always in the textbook, and then learners are always expected to study it or to know it. So it's extremely important for you to already now learn what the Delphi technique is. Now, the Delphi technique involves the use of a series of confidential questionnaires to solve problems. These problems are normally solved by a panel of experts. Experts do not have to be in the same room when they have to solve the problem. And after that, then the feedback from the experts is returned back to the people that need it. The feedback is then summarized and looked at to see what the important solutions is, or what they feel like is the solution to solving a problem. Of course, everyone has to look at the questionnaires from the different perspective. The feedback is evaluated differently, and then an agreement is eventually made on what may be the best solution to solving the problem. Here we are faced with another technique that is known as the nominal group technique. Each employee of the business is requested to silently brainstorm and to generate ideas. They can generate as much ideas as they possibly want, and they can write all of their ideas down. A voting process is added to rank ideas, of course, and everyone in the group gets to participate on what they think the best idea is. So this happens anonymously. People do not know who suggested what idea. A suggestion box is placed, and then everyone comes together, and then they throw in their suggestions. They throw in what they think. Afterwards, this box is taken out. All the suggestions are taken out and are put in front of the panel, or in front of these employees, and then they come together and they decide on the best idea that there is, or they feel like this is the best solution to solving a certain problem. Here, I just wanted to share with you guys a little map that I have for the next technique that we're going to be doing, which is mind mapping. So I want you guys to see what it is exactly meant by mind mapping, but most of you guys have already done something called mind mapping, especially in subjects such as English, where you have to draw up a mind map first before you can compile your essay. So the next topic that we're going to be busy with is called mind mapping. So the application of mind mapping is that some people think more creatively if they can draw pictures of their thinking process, if they can see what are they thinking, if they can put what they have in their minds on paper. So that is how ideas or thoughts can be changed into diagrams or something called a mind map. You know, these people write down the main ideas of the center of the sheet of the paper. They think of things that are connected to the main point or to the thoughts and then write down the keywords of these. What they also do is they draw lines to connect these phrases or these words to the main idea. And as you continue working, other ideas might pop up into your head and you continue adding them to your mind map. This is the effective way of using mind map. When you have a problem, you list a solution, and as you tackle down that solution, you find more solutions, so you find more ways on how you can solve the problem. So that is a way of using mind mapping to also solve problems. Force combination, in my opinion, is not really a technique that most companies or businesses can be used, because if you would understand, force combination is to combine two similarly unrelated ideas to come up with one new idea. For example, you're gonna take pieces of papers and you're gonna write like a number of words or separate words on these papers, like scraps, you know. And you know, like these people do when they do like the lottery, you have to like get a ball out or your ball has to fall into something. That's exactly what happens. So only in this case you have to put like in a hat, and then you have to pull out two papers, and if these papers maybe say cat and this one says dog, and then you know you have to take these two things, you have to put it together, and you have to try to come up with a solution. So that one is quite difficult, it's quite tricky for some people. If I have to think about it that way, it would be definitely difficult for me, but I guess people are very creative out here and people really know how to put their minds on certain things. So that is what forced combination is, by combining two very much so unrelated things in order to find a solution to a problem. Now, SCAMPA is an acronym that helps team members explore ideas from several different perspectives. And this doesn't only need one individual, it definitely needs a lot of people to come together. And now we're exploring all of these ideas, all of these acronyms. It involves lateral thinking and helps teams explore new possibilities. You find new ways to doing things. Here's definitely where a person can invent a new invention without even thinking that they would do that, because you explore so many perspectives. Scamper helps generate diverse ideas for new products and services, and this will help. They will help innovative idea making, and they will also help the existing products, you know, the ideas that are already there. Let's look at what each and every single acronym or word on the acronym Scamper means. Now we are faced with the acronym SCAMPER, and now it is brought apart. We look at what the SCAMPER means, and let's look at it. We see that the S says that it's substitute. You can replace a part of your product or service or process with another. If you're using glass in your business, or if you're selling glass, you can replace this with what? Selling what? Plastic. We understand. We look at the C. C says to combine ideas, processes, or products into one or more efficient. It's exactly as the nominal group says, or the force field, the force combination, where you use one or more things and you combine it into becoming something. You combine it into becoming a new product. And then we look at the A. A is to adapt. We all know as business owners, each and everyone has to like adapt to a new situation or a new environment. Adapt says that adapt an existing idea that might not have worked before. If you had an idea that you did not think would be effective or efficient in your business, try to use it. Try to adapt it. Force your business environment to change so that it can adapt to using this product or this service. And we look at modify. Modify an aspect of your situation or problem. Make it larger, stronger, or smaller, or lighter. If you have a problem, try to make it as small as possible. If you have an opportunity, a business opportunity that would lead to the success of your business, try to make it bigger. Try to make it work into your to your advantage. We see put to another use. Put current processors or products that were intended for a specific purpose to another use. You know, if you have this product and it only seems like it's working for this thing alone, or it's only working to this customer base, only women like it, let's say that, try to use this product so that it can go into other factors, so that it can go into other environments, so that it can help the business more, not only to one way but into more things. And then we have eliminate is as it says. You identify the most important parts, and if they are there, you simplify that. If you don't have parts and then they just hinder the business, eliminate them. They are no use to the business. We have reverse says it is the orientation. Reverse the orientation or the direction of a process or product. Do things the other way around. Try doing new things in the business. You know, if you used to do something this way, try doing something another way and see if it won't work out for you as a business. We have reached the end of our lesson. If anyone has a question about anything, this is the time for you guys to ask questions. Now, if you guys didn't understand anything, if you guys maybe perhaps want to tell me something, this is the time that you can do so. We have reached the end of this topic of creative thinking and problem solving. Now, as a class, we will write an informal class test in order to practice and to see how well we understand this topic. Question 1 was a multiple choice test. That is mostly the test that you guys love as students because it's easier for you guys to answer. But here, question 2, we are faced with a short answer test where you will have to read and you will have to refer back. So please do this so that we can continue with the next topic. I want to thank you guys for attending class. As I said, anyone who needs help, they should just email me. They can ask for help. We're all new to this virtual learning experience. It's okay if you are scared. I am also extremely frightened, but we will make it work, all of us. Thank you so much, grade 10s, for attending class, and I really hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you.